Hello everyone and welcome to the British Grand Prix, the 8th Grand Prix in this season. Here we can look at the standings. We see Michael, who is 17 points ahead of David. Michael is also in turn 29 points ahead of Elijah, who is 36 points ahead of Liam, who is in P4 in the standings. And then he's 13 points ahead of Chris, who will no longer be joining us here. And we look even farther down. You just see everyone drop off here. And they get just lower and lower here. Nobody really else is in the standings. We see the final four drivers here. All of them have not started in a long time, if at all. We can look here at the constructors. Ferrari only have an 8-point lead to McLaren, who is only 1 point ahead of Mercedes here, who have a monumental 102-point gap to the kick team in 4th place. And then all other 4 teams did not win anything, but this is going to change dramatically as Ferrari is not here at Silverstone today. Neither driver was able to make it. We have Elijah in P1, second pole in a row. We have David getting P2, Dylan with his second P3, Nate down in P4. We have the kick drivers in P5 and 6 with Liam down there in P7. This is going to be an extremely interesting race. Elijah chasing his first ever victory in Formula 1, and David here trying to reclaim the top step in the championship battle. Let's get right into this. And it's lights out and away we go with the first ever British Grand Prix here. Elijah gets a great start, almost better than David. The first time I think I've ever seen someone get a better start than David. He gets ahead right there. We can look back. We see Liam already getting up into P6 there. Austin drops down to P7 all the way down at the bottom. We see Dylan and Austin. We see everyone go wide there. We see David take the lead of the race there as Elijah absolutely botches that turning there. We see Nate up there into P3 as Dylan dropped down to P4. He's gonna get a move on here around, but no, he does not go for it. Elijah's now chasing David here. He already lost that first place position. We know how much he's been battling for a win here. He's at 3 consecutive second places behind both Michael and David, who are at the moment championship leaders, and David is running away with it, showing why he's still in the championship fight. Not too far behind though is Nate, who also has Dylan right on his tail, also dropping from 5th down to 7th. Armando with his second race of the season going up into P5 again, with Liam down in 6th place. He's been struggling this latter half so far of the season. But Elijah's now only 5/10 behind David here. When we get DRS on this next lap, he will have a chance for another move. Dylan only 1/2 behind Nate here, not that far. They are continuing here. I mean, as David gets in here, Elijah gets a great exit there, giving him a good run with DRS here. But David is having to use all of his battery just to gain a bit of time on him. Elijah does not get it there, but he is still right on that tail. He did not have to use much battery. David had to use a lot to stay ahead. Mercedes is still in front. Elijah goes wide there. The dirty air is horrible to cops, as we all know. Nate has dropped down 2 places now, 3 places. Looks like he's spun out. He's down to P7 as Armando's first ever in P4, highest he has been. And we have Dylan now behind in P3, and Elijah gets ahead here at the end of that straight. Gets ahead, and that is going to give him the new lead of the race here. But David won't let that up that easy. He's a really strong attacker. He pushes people to make mistakes, like he did with Michael back in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We saw it there. He waited patiently behind, pushed Michael to wear out his own tires, and then just casually took first place and ran with it. Elijah's a bit smarter than that, though. He plays even more patient, forcing David to try and make a move as he goes along the inside. They go side by side through this turn. Elijah stays ahead, but just barely, goes a little bit off track. David's going to try and go for the switchback here as they go side by side. He went further, but Elijah stays ahead. It was great battling. David's going to go along the outside here. Elijah's going on the inside. He almost pulled 2021. But David gets ahead at the end. And I mean, that was a great move around him. He kept pressuring Elijah until he went the inside and gave him room to make the overtake. But Elijah gets DRS here. He's going to have another go at him here. He's going to go on the outside or the inside. He chooses the inside line. Gets just ahead. He's going to go for the switchback. He does not get the switchback, and he's gone. Elijah again retakes the lead of the race. David is, again, not giving him a chance to breathe here as he tries to retake the lead of the race. Elijah goes a little bit wide, but because David hit the inside curb, he had lost a little bit of time. We see Nate back up there into P6. They're going side by side down this turn. David is going to get DRS, I believe. And that is going to give him a huge advantage. And there it is. Already side by side with the DRS. There's no stopping that. David retakes the lead of the race. They make a little bit of Elijah taps the back of him just a little bit, though. Definitely not a lot to really worry. I mean, they're 7 seconds ahead of the rest of the grid here. Nobody is catching these people battling for first. I mean, they are absolutely brawling out there, not giving anyone a chance to breathe. And after these turns here, Elijah's going to get DRS once again. Only 3/10 behind here. This is going to be another hopefully beautiful move here. Is he going to choose the outside or the inside? He does a little fake, goes onto the inside as David has to let him through here. He cannot battle with that. But Elijah's having to recharge here. He ran out of battery. Now David spins out and goes into the barrier. No idea what happened there. He must have tapped the back of Elijah just a little bit. Elijah tried to give him as much room as possible, but clearly did not help. And David has been pushed out. Elijah is clear ahead in first. I don't think he's ever had a gap this large in first place before. David now 5.2 seconds behind here. Could have broken his wing, and if that's the case, he will be struggling to try and rejoin and get back in that fight. Nate overtakes Liam now for 5th place. He's making his way back up the order. 2 seconds behind Armando, who is in 4th place. And Dylan, I mean, is catching David. David is definitely struggling. He definitely broke his wing. He's now 6.6 seconds behind. Dylan is almost in DRS range. He could be going for that 2nd place here, trying to overtake his teammate. Elijah has driven cleanly for the past 4 races, getting 3 consecutive 2nd places. And I mean, now he's being rewarded. David had made a mistake there on the outside. Little tap, spun him out. Now 8 seconds back with his teammate just 6/10 behind him, bearing down to take that 2nd place. Elijah's a little slide. Nothing to worry about. I mean, the rest of the field is 11 seconds behind Dylan. But Nate is only 4/10 behind Armando here, who should hopefully get a move around him on this next straight. Elijah's pace here is keeping him ahead. "20 laps to go." He's 9 seconds ahead of David here. If he continues like this, he will be just 3 points behind Michael at the moment, who is the championship leader. And as Dylan makes the move around David, David's race is slowly falling apart here from him and Elijah battling. He retakes second place. I don't know for how long. Looks like David went into the pit lane here. Pitting, probably fixing his wing. As it stands, oh, and there he goes. He drops even farther down to P5. He's down in P6. And then no one in front of him has pitted though, but so he should be able to make it at least up there into P3 and hopefully even up into P2 once everyone does pit. I don't think anyone will be catching Elijah today. David already making his way up into P5 there, overtaking Austin. He has 7 seconds to make it before he makes it into P3. Speaking of which, Armando is up in P3, 4 seconds ahead of Nate, who's down in P4, the highest he's ever been up. Up there into P2 as Dylan pits for new tires. Again, the highest Armando has ever been. If he finds a way to stay in that position for the rest of the race, he will be that'll be his first ever podium here. David just 5 seconds behind him. As it stands, if David were to get a 3rd place finish and Elijah 1st place finish, Michael would be in the lead with 128. David would be in 2nd with 126. And Elijah would be in 3rd with 124. All 3 of them separated by just 4 points, with 2 points separating each of them. That would bring Spa to be an extremely interesting and chaotic race where any win would decide the leader of the championship. Without Ferrari here, Mercedes and McLaren see to get a big points advantage here to the rest of the field. I mean, Ferrari's only 6 points ahead of McLaren, who's only 1 extra point ahead of Mercedes. So if they just gain 9 points, if Mercedes just gains 9 points, they will be tied with Ferrari. If they gain 10, which is at the moment what they stand to get, looks like 33 points. They will be even farther ahead. And McLaren at the moment, who stands to also get 33, he will be separated by just 1 point. Liam moves up into P4 there as the kicks drop even farther down. They're now back down to their P6, 7. Armando is still a little bit higher though than Austin. Austin 8 seconds behind him. We see Elijah here going into the pits. Taps the grass a little bit, but not a lot. Looks like Mercedes is good, or McLaren is putting him onto the medium tires here. That was a beautiful pit stop from them. Nobody's gonna even pass me. Had a free pit stop there of about 23 seconds. I mean, as he gets out now onto the track, he's gonna have to warm these tires up pretty fast. Dylan is only 6 seconds behind him, with David another 3.7 behind. And we see him there at the back straight, Dylan. At the moment, Elijah has nothing to worry about. They are not closing that gap down. I mean, especially once he gets these tires warmed up, he will be flying a little bit faster than them. He went into the pits about 2 to 3 laps after Mercedes did. So he will have these fresher tires and will be able to push for a little bit longer than they are. I mean, David even seemed to be dropping from Dylan now, who's in a pretty comfortable P2 position. Dylan has never gotten a podium so far, so this would be a pretty well-deserved one, as he's been fighting in that midfield for a long time now, near the top of the grid. I mean, David dropping even farther back now, 12 seconds. Don't know what's happening to David here, but clearly something is wrong. I mean, now the Elijah's tires are all heated up. You can literally see the gap slowly increase. It almost never goes down. I mean, like, it has been increasing that gap ever so slightly since David had crashed on lap 5 of the race. And I mean, David's now 15 seconds behind Dylan here. Okay, so 15 seconds behind Dylan. Dylan with a comfortable P2 position. I mean, even Liam's starting to catch up though to David. Only 7 seconds behind, and Nate just 2 seconds behind him. As Nate overtakes Liam for that 4th place position. Nate now has 9 seconds to make up though on David. I mean, Elijah's in a comfortable P1 position right now, 10.5 seconds ahead of Dylan here. You just see him back there though. at the halfway mark of this Grand Prix here. 13 out of 26 laps. I mean, as it stands here, looks like Elijah will be getting his first ever victory. He's been chasing that for a really long time. Out of 7 Grand Prix, he's had 2 thirds and 3 second place finishes, with a 4th place in Australia at the very start of the season. And I mean, if we look at Dylan here, who's not much better here. He's had actually he's a little bit worse though than Elijah. He's never had a podium finish. The highest he got was a P4 back in Saudi Arabia. I mean, he's had 1 4th place finish, but the rest are either 5th or below. He had a 4th place finish in Canada because of Caden's DNF at the very end of the race. I mean, if we look at the opposite side, the second Grand Prix start for Armando, he got up into P2 there for a little bit because of all the craziness that was happening at the front of the grid. Last time in Austria, he got I believe it was a P5 because of Caden's DNF once again. Now Caden just is not showing up, did not show up to the Silverstone Grand Prix, or the British Grand Prix. Elijah has a big slide there. Caden with the last 3 races DNFing, and then at the British Grand Prix not being able to show up along with his teammate Michael, who at the moment is the leader of the championship. He's lost Ferrari's a lot of valuable points, but just hoping that in these upcoming races he will be able to do better. That's all that he can hope for at the moment. Here, I mean, we see Elijah 15 seconds ahead of Dylan here, who is 23 seconds ahead of his teammate David, who just race or two beforehand was in first place by a large margin. Now he's back in 3rd by a large margin. I mean, it is only 4 seconds behind him. He could drop out of the podium positions here if he is not careful. See that Austin makes the move though around Armando, but Armando quickly takes back the position here. Looks like the kicks are having a little battle down in the last place here. I mean, Nate is now, again, 2.2 seconds behind David, but looks like David has pitted there. And so has Nate as Liam goes up into P3. And with David pitting and with Nate getting in front of him there, he drops down to P5. Again, David has a lot of ground to make up now before he even gets close to that second place position. I mean, as it stands, is 50 points ahead of him. Sorry, 53 points ahead of him. I mean, there are now less than 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. It'll all just come down to if Elijah can just bring it home. I mean, he has a comfortable lead, 17 seconds ahead of Dylan here. He's already lapped a kick driver by the looks of it. We saw that Dylan had pitted, and I mean, now Dylan is 39 seconds behind. We see Liam pitting, and now he drops back down into the P5 position. We did not expect him to keep the P3 position for that long. And he comes out just behind David. He may have a chance here if David makes a mistake or two. I mean, there is a 1 minute gap between first and fourth. Or between first and third, actually. There's an even larger gap between first and fourth. I mean, there's not much longer left in this Grand Prix. As we near the final stretch here, there's this lap. There will be only 7 laps of racing left before the end of the Grand Prix. Looks like Armando pits again, and Austin gets ahead of him there for P6. As we go around here, we can see though that David is only 3/10 behind Nate here, who is in third place, going for again for his first ever podium. Both Dylan and Nate have been fighting for that first podium now for a good bit, getting both of them getting a couple fourths, a lot of fifths, and David gets around him there. I mean, as we get near the end of the Grand Prix, there's only 6 laps left, but I mean, there is not really much to commentate over. I mean, Nate has a chance of getting back up in the P3. Other than that, Dylan's definitely not catching Elijah here. David's definitely not catching Dylan. And nobody else in the back three are getting up into P4 or higher. As we've seen from trends before. These usually end up to be the final positions of a race. Elijah goes into the pits one more time, just as lap 21 starts. Nate's still in that 1 second mark, by the way. As a lap is normally a pit stop is usually around 23 to 24 seconds. Elijah won't have to worry that much. And that looks like Armando here is about to get left by Elijah. Now Nate is just gotten out of that 1 second mark. There's just 4 laps to go to end this Grand Prix. I mean, as we look at the time now, I mean, Dylan is 20 seconds behind Elijah. David is 25 seconds behind Dylan. And Nate's still somewhat being able to keep up with the Mercedes cars, only being 3.7 seconds behind. Losing that around a span of 3 laps or so. He's losing about a second a lap. Liam 12 seconds behind him. Austin 42 seconds behind Liam. And Armando just 1.2 seconds behind also. We could see a position switch in the back here pretty soon. See, Austin or Elijah completely cut the track there. Missed the exit, had to go to the off-road. Only 2 laps to go. It looks like this race is pretty much finalized. I don't think anyone's going to be changing up any positions anymore. We have the McLarens in P1 and 5. We have the Mercedes 2 and 3. We have the Kicks 6 and 7. And we have the V-Carb up in P4. Elijah has been extremely dominant through this race. I mean, he battled David for a little bit, going side by side through a lot of these turns, like this one, for example. But then once he got ahead, once David spun out, there was nothing that stopped him, and he just went through lap by lap and just kept leading till the end of the race. I mean, until now, obviously, from what we know, he could probably spin out. Well, it is probably fairly unlikely that he spins out or he crashes. We are now entering the final lap of the race here. I mean, this one has been a fairly interesting but also a fairly boring one. At the beginning of the race, there was a lot of action between the drivers, especially the ones in P1 and 2. We had David, who was trying to get back on top with a victory here, who had lost the lead of the championship to Michael back in Austria. And on the other side, we had Elijah, who has been trying to win a Grand Prix here for the past, technically for the past 7, but he's been really close the past 3, getting 3 consecutive second places. Before that, he had a 4th place finish. Before that, he had a 3rd. He's been trying his hardest here to really try and push, and obviously, you know, he gets the second place and he gets aggravated and he pushes even harder at the next race, and then he'll still get second. But the perseverance that he has is definitely starting to come through here with a 38-point gap to the drivers in second and to the driver in second place here. And I mean, he's been chasing the tail end of the top step for the past 3 races, and now he has finally been able to catch it, grab it, and hold it as he comes around the final corner, and Elijah wins the British Grand Prix and takes his first victory here for Formula One, and he has solidified himself in that championship. If we look at the standings now, David was given that second place to Dylan before the end of the race, so he gains those 18 points and gets 1 point ahead of Michael, who's at 128. We have Elijah getting his first ever win, now just 4 points behind Michael here, and we have Liam with a clean 10 points, going up still 50 points back. Just behind him is Dylan, who got his first ever podium finish here. We got Austin with a clean 8 now. Nate with 12 points, going up 50, just ahead of Chris here. We see the back 4. Nothing has changed back here. And if we look at the constructor standings, we have McLaren 3 points off, breaking 200. Ferrari still at that 170. Mercedes just 3 points behind them. They gain 35 and 30 points respectively. And I mean, Kit getting another 27 points, being absolutely crazy here. V-Carb gaining 12. And with Red Bull, Haas, and Aston Martin not getting anything, that will conclude the British Grand Prix.